Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, March 20th. Quite an impressive cold shot this past weekend into the eastern U.S. Here we are, hours away from the beginning of spring. I believe spring officially begins 5:24 later this afternoon. That's 5:24 Eastern time. And we've had some impressive cold the last couple of nights. The low temperatures well down in the 20s in the suburban areas of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Again, quite a chilly morning here as we begin the new work week. This is the latest map from coolweather.com that shows actual sites with near record or record lows this morning. Again, Monday morning, March 20th, and really pretty much anywhere under from the Mid-Atlantic region down into the Gulf Coast region. We have a lot of areas that are near record or actual record low temperatures as we begin the new work week. Again, very impressive cold given the time of the year. Again, we're just hours away from the beginning of springtime, and it's a cold start to the week. And we've kind of been in this pattern in the eastern U.S. where it's been cold during the weekends, then we warm up by the midweek or the latter part of the week. Usually that warm up is accompanied by some rainfall, and we get colder again in the subsequent weekend. And it looks like that pattern will repeat this week with a cold start to the week, but we have noticeably milder weather. DC, Philadelphia, New York City for the second half of the week, again accompanied by some rain, and then we likely turn colder again during the upcoming weekend. Well, let's take a look at the last night's operational run of the GFS. And again, we're going to start off here with the total liquid equivalent precipitation over the next 5 days. This is between this morning, Monday morning, and Saturday morning. An active weather pattern continues. Two areas of interest that are really popping out at me this morning. First of all, right in this part of the nation, looks like there'll be a frontal boundary zone that sets up later on in the week, pretty much in this fashion, with a orientation like this, maybe low pressure over the Ohio Valley, then another piece of the warm front extending off to the east. And this frontal boundary zone will show the model forecast maps in a moment here. Will become quite active, and it looks like it could be the potential for some heavy rain right along that frontal boundary zone. And that is not the only active area in this pattern over the next several days. Out in the west, be another storm, a powerful storm, slamming into the west coast later tomorrow into tomorrow night. It will continue the pattern of recent weeks where it produces heavy snowfall, those higher elevation locations of California, for example. Not only California, but all those higher elevations of the Rocky Mountain states. A great pattern for skiers out in the western U.S., and lots of rainfall in the low-lying areas. This is pretty substantial over the next 5 days, all the way down to San Diego, Baja, California region. Anything purple is 2 inches of rain or above. So again, significant rainfall for the all the way down to San Diego and again, northwestern part of Mexico over the next 5 days. Well, that prior map was the liquid equivalent precipitation amount for the next 5 days. This is the total snowfall between this morning and Saturday morning here, and decent snowfall coming up for the northern plains. And we'll see late this week, especially going into the weekend, which is not actually on this particular map here. We have some more significant snow for New England, northern part of New England, especially the interior sections. And look at all this out in the western states. The Rocky Mountains, some of those ski resorts will get significant snowfall over the next several days. And once again, the Sierra Nevada mountains here of eastern California will add on to an already a very, very deep snowpack, and another several feet of snow possible over the next 5 days or so out in the mountains of eastern California. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps from the operational run of the GFS last night. Cold Canadian high pressure now has moved over the Mid-Atlantic region as we begin the day here on March 20th. Again, spring equinox officially hits 5:24 this afternoon Eastern time, and it is a cold start to the day here on Monday morning, again with those record or near record lows from the mid-Atlantic region all the way down to the Gulf Coast region, some precipitation in the western part of the U.S. Now, we'll watch as this high pressure area eventually by midweek moves off the eastern seaboard. Here we go by Tuesday evening, and that'll open the door for some milder air on the backside to flow up from the Gulf of Mexico into the Mississippi Valley region, the upper part of the Midwest. This is now the Tuesday evening forecast map. And here is then next powerful storm system about to slam into California already, producing rain all the way down to northwestern Mexico, San Diego region of southwestern California, and heavy snows over those higher elevation locations, eastern California, and again, significant snow all the way through the Rocky Mountain states over the next few days. Now let's move forward here, and we'll see that milder air starts to filter into the eastern U.S. by the time we get to midweek. Especially, we'll have high temperatures doing no better this afternoon in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City than about 50 degrees. We're talking 60 degrees tomorrow afternoon and on Wednesday afternoon as well, all as a result of that high pressure shifting off the eastern seaboard. This is the forecast map for midday on Wednesday, and a lot of snowfall for those Rocky Mountain states. Now, let's go a little bit farther in time. You could start to see at this time frame on Thursday morning quite a frontal boundary zone setting up, probably low pressure right in this region right here, and a front dropping from the south and west of that surface low, and a warm front extending to the east from that surface low pressure area. And watch what happens as we go out a little farther in time. You start to see this really explode in precipitation here. This it becomes potential for some heavy rainfall. Again, right along that frontal boundary zone, we have this warm front kind of extending in this region right here from this low over Indiana. At this time, this is late Thursday night, and a cold front to the south and west. And this whole area right in here, we'll have to monitor this situation over the next few days. Could end up being an area of some heavy rainfall late this week, and we'll go a little farther in time into Friday morning. And again, some heavy precipitation in the form of rain being depicted here late Thursday night going into Friday morning. And eventually, this whole pattern here, by the time we get to Friday night, early Saturday, still producing some heavy rainfall down in the southern states, and eventually it generates a storm that could produce a big snow situation here. A lot of snowfall from northern New England here and interior northeast U.S. This is now Saturday evening forecast map, and here we go again. We've had this pattern of turning colder in the weekends in the eastern U.S., and we have this potential snowstorm for interior northern mid-Atlantic and New England. Look at this, by Sunday morning, a healthy snowstorm going on at this time for Maine, for example, and other parts of interior northern New England. So something we'll watch for over the next several days. It looks like possibility of a band of heavy rainfall later this week, Mississippi, Ohio Valley, even into the eastern part of the U.S., and then ultimately over the upcoming weekend could be some more significant snowfall in the interior northern mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. New England, for example, could get some significant snowfall over the upcoming weekend. And over the next few days, California gets hit, snows inland higher elevation locations, rains in the low-lying coastal areas, and some significant snow over the Rocky Mountain states as well over the next few days. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.